1 minute starting now to get into state. Breathe deeply. Sit upright. Breathe into the navel and massage the abdomen. When you breathe in, increase the height in your posture. And as you breathe out, relax into that height and feel the bliss of that height. Feel the bliss of that pose. Lift your sternum, relax your shoulders. Shoulder blades into the ribs. Chin slightly tucked in. And focus on the topic of today, which is the archetype of the king. Before we begin, I would like to thank you and in my own way bless you for coming and viewing this video. We're doing some really powerful work here, work that I really believe in, and this video will be on the internet forever, so share it with everyone you know and give them the same gift that I hope to give you now. We are here because of the men before us, the men who fought our wars to fight for our freedom, the men who have given their lives, and we are here from their collective efforts. Even if we do not feel them, even if some of their efforts were for the negative, that is a part of our history, part of our legacy, and we're here now. It is our turn now. It is our turn to step up and do our jobs. Page 70. So, before that actually, making big handwriting. The king. The first task in accessing the king energy for would-be human kings is to disidentify our egos from it. Whatever we think of kings, the great kings, the magnificent kings, they were the ones who had a divine purpose, a purpose that was more powerful than themselves. Our first task tonight is to understand that there is a greater reason for doing this work. There is a greater purpose to our lives, and that purpose is not for self-aggrandizement. It is not to look good. It is not to impress others. There is a purpose in our lives that we must connect to as men. And when we do that, we give and we contribute to the growth of others, to the power of others, and to the power of other men. So continuing, realistic greatness in adult life, as opposed to inflation and grandiosity, involves recognizing our proper relationship to this, our egos, and the other mature masculine energies. The ego of the mature man needs to think of itself, no matter what status or power it has temporarily achieved, as the servant of a transpersonal will or cause. The Shadow King as tyrant, because he arises according to this perspective, that he is magnificent, that perspective it is. When the ego is identified with the king energy itself, it has no transpersonal commitment. He is his own priority. The planet pretends to be a star. I want to emphasize the fact that this whole reason here is to find your purpose in life, being in touch with the king energy. I like to discuss the topic of having a sacred or a divine, almost divine purpose to life. And I want to disassociate the religious undertones of the word sacred for this video here. When I say the word sacred, I mean something of vital importance, that it is in your bones. It is in your very bones. If this is new to you, then this might not make too much sense to you. You might not feel it yet. And in the future, we will be looking at the king in ourselves and our relationship to it. By far, the most important relationship in our lives as men is the relationship with our fathers. In fact, when we are children, our father is the king. Our father is the God in our lives, the masculine ideal in our lives. It is our relationship with our fathers that brings us to fruition as men. And if that relationship is damaged, as many of them are in our culture, in our society, if it is, then it is almost impossible to fulfill ourselves as men. We will look at that in the future and we'll touch on it today. But this is a preparation for that work. I want you to spend a moment to reflect on your relationship with your father. It may be that your father was there present the whole time, but he was disconnected. He was too caught up in his own bullshit, in his own head. Maybe your father wasn't there when you were growing up. Maybe you had no father. Maybe you had more than one father. Nevertheless, as men, we have the image of the masculine inside our own minds. That masculine ideal that we associate with the father energy. And regardless of the joys and pains that energy has given you in his life, spend a moment now to thank that energy, to thank that figure inside your mind, because that has defined you as the man you are today. It has defined you, who you are. And regardless of how good or bad that influence has been, you would not be the man who you are right now. You would not have the power that you have now. We will look at the wounds that the king energy gives us. The wounds we have. And these wounds are all sacred in their own way. But if they are not handled properly, then they will cause demons inside of us. Our job is to create these painful wounds into sacred wounds. Wounds that steel us. Wounds that force us to grow up and become men. So, back to the start of the chapter, page 49. The king energy is primal to all men. It bears the same relationship to the other three mature masculine potentials as the divine child does to the other three immature masculine energies. The good and generative king is also a good warrior, a positive magician, and a great lover. And yet with most of us, the king comes online last. So we see that the king energy is fundamental to the other three energies. It binds them together that the other three do not. Two functions of king energy make up this transition from boy energy to man psychology possible. The first is ordering. The second is providing of fertility and blessing. So we'll have a look at these two energies that the king provides. Ordering creating order and structure in the world and in your own life, and blessing and fertility and giving to others. These two put together are the elements of leadership. I'll be making other videos based on the art of war, and we will see that the art of war is a booklet of masculinity in the context of Taoism. The Art of War is a king and a warrior handbook, and it brings out the elements of leadership. We'll be looking at the Art of War, and we'll be looking at other books, the Tao of leadership. And, I believe that this is one of the great ways to bring out these energies in men. But for the moment, we'll just, we'll discuss it here, and we'll prepare ourselves for that kind of work. The king energy, through a mortal king, embodies for the people the realm of order, the realm of this ordering principle of the divine world. And what this book is saying here is that the order that he creates is to serve a purpose. The order that he creates points all of a man's energies to serve a great purpose that is greater than himself. The mortal king, operating under the mature masculine energy of the king, lived the order of his own life. Only secondarily did he enforce it. So, finding order within yourself, the deep structures in yourself, that is the fundamentals of who you are, the foundations. When that is in order, you are ready to enforce your power. You are ready to enforce the power of the warrior and the magician, and to enjoy life through the lover. So, just a note on modern dysfunctional families. We see in modern dysfunctional families that when there is an immature, a weak, or an absent father, and the king energy is not sufficiently present, the family is very often given over to order and chaos. In our culture, we've been inundated with images of immature or just fucked up dads. Think about The Simpsons, think about Family Guy, think about Everybody Loves Raymond. And think about the messages that these fathers are giving us. We laugh at them because we understand that there is something amiss. But at the same time, we carry a great social pain, and that is of the weak or, just undeveloped father. That father was not undeveloped because of anything of his own fault. He was undeveloped because he lacked his own father, and that father lacked a father. I think we are seeing the fruition of many generations of weak or fathers who are not trained well in the art of manhood. And that is the purpose of these videos here, to bring us up to speed, to empower us. So continuing on, page 58. In conjunction with his ordering function, the second vital good that the king energy manifests is fertility and blessing. To be a king means to give energy to others, to bless them. Which is why I spent a quick time thinking about our fathers and spending time to feel how they empowered us. Even if they were disempowering, there was still an empowering element to us. And in the same way, this video is a blessing that I give to any man watching this. And it is a call to empower you. It's a call to activate centers of your own mind, to empower you and to call you to your purpose. Whatever that may be. It may seem murky to you right now. You may have somewhat of an idea, but not a concrete idea with yourself. We are going to work that out. We are going to do it together. It was not only fertility in an immediately physical sense or generativity and creativity in a general sense that came out of the second function of the king energy. Through efficacy of ancient kings, it was also blessing. Blessing is a psychological or spiritual event. The good king always mirrored and affirmed others who deserved it. Now, of vital importance, page 61. Young men today are starving for blessing from older men, starving for blessing from the king energy. This is why they cannot, as we say, get it together. They shouldn't have to. They need to be blessed. We have a responsibility as men. This is what we have to do. We need to change things. We need to do it now. And if we come together as men, as a group, we bless each other, we hold each other up high, instead of, destroying others and putting others down. There is benefits in that kind of challenge, being men with each other, just playing around. But in a whole, we need the blessing energy of men. We need the order and structure that blessing gives us. The king archetype in its fullness possesses the qualities of order, of reasonable and rational patterning, of integration and integrity in the masculine psyche. It stabilizes chaotic emotion and out-of-control behaviors. It gives stability and centeredness. It brings calm. It mediates vitality, life force, and joy. It brings maintenance and balance. It defends our own sense of inner order, our own integrity of being and of purpose, and our own central calmness about who we are. It looks upon the world with a firm but kindly eye. It sees others in all their weaknesses and in all of their talents and worth. It honors them and promotes them. It guides them and nurtures them towards their fullness of being. It is not envious because it is secure. It rewards and encourages creativity in us and others. It represents... Now, with the other archetypes. In its central incorporation and expression of the warrior, it represents aggressive might when that is what is needed when order is threatened. It also has the power of inner authority. It knows and discerns when it's associated with its magician aspect and acts out of deep knowingness. It delights in us and in others when it is associated with its lover aspect. Understand that this is the focal point of your internal world. Access the king, access the energy of men, and access the energy of your fathers. There is a legacy of the masculine that flows through our culture, and we are desperately, desperately out of touch with that. In the future, I'll be looking specifically at the relationship with the king in our own selves by looking at our relationships with our fathers. When we finish the 4 archetypes in this series. There'll be, 7 more videos. The next video will be looking at the shadow aspects of the king. It will be a slightly shorter video than this. And we will be questioning ourselves whenever we do one of these shadow videos. Where does that come up in my life? But to end this video, just spend about 30 seconds, just focusing on that king energy in yourselves. Even if you haven't accessed it fully, the buddings of it, the energy of the divine child is there, and it is yearning to get out. This video, I hope, has contributed to that somewhat, and it has sprung to life an energy that was dormant before. I wish you all the well. Take care.